Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, I'm Penny. I am a master esthetician in Portland, Oregon. Today's topic is copper peptides. I'm super excited to be discussing this with you today. Now, if you are new here, I hope you will consider subscribing. I also hope you'll consider following me over on Instagram. I'm posting daily skincare content over there, and it's just a really fun platform. I'm running a kind of masking challenge where I get to see your face on my Instagram, which is super cool for me. And I'm also doing a giveaway over there where I'm basically putting together a care package of skincare goodies for one or two of you. So I do hope that you will check that out. Now, today's video, like I said, is about copper peptides. I'm gonna keep the science succinct, but I will put timestamps in the description box. So if you feel like skipping around, feel free. I'm probably gonna make this a series because it's a huge subject. So in the comment section, I would love it if you would ask any questions that come up. And what I will do is a follow-up video, a follow-up copper peptide video of frequently asked questions. So without further ado, let's get into the video. First of all, what you need to know is that amino acids are the building blocks of life, and amino acid chains make up peptides. There are 4 different peptides that we consider. One of them is signaling peptides. Another is carrier peptides. Then we have neurotransmitter peptides, and we have enzymatic inhibitor peptides. For sake of today's video, we're going to talk about carrier peptides and signaling peptides. Both of those types of peptides are very, very important for the transport of copper to all kinds of processes in our body that ultimately result in collagen production. Editing pen here, I have to explain something quickly before we move on. I have been under the impression that GHK was the combination of 3 amino acids that have an affinity for copper, and that when combined or complexed with copper become a copper peptide. And in a conversation with Leah from Skin Beautiful RX, I learned that GHK and GHK-cu, which is the 3 amino acids plus copper, are interchangeable in a lot of medical literature. So I want to clarify, I want to read to you what the chemist did say when Leah reached out to confirm that information. She said, a purist would say that GHK and GHK-cu are slightly different. However, some of the medical literature uses tripeptide 1 and copper tripeptide 1 to refer to the same substance. Sometimes it is confusing to sort through what is written and to be certain what is being referred to. So I am not a chemist, and this little detail is confusing to me as it may be to you. But what I think is important is to know that when you read in an ingredient deck and you see GHK, it is copper peptide. When you see GHK-cu, it is a copper peptide. If you see tripeptide 1, that's a copper peptide. If you see copper tripeptide 1, that's a copper peptide. And if I learn more and I can explain it better, I will certainly get back to you. But again, I am not a chemist. Okay, back to the video. Now, what's so important about copper? Copper is actually integral in so many enzymatic processes in our body. So first of all, we have superoxide dismutase, and its correlating enzymatic function is to be an antioxidant. If you didn't watch my last video, I actually talked about superoxide dismutase. I highly suggest that you check that one out because I was reviewing a favorite of mine, which is the niode superoxide dismutase saccharide mist, which is a mouthful, and I was singing its praises because that is such a powerful antioxidant. So copper is integral in that enzymatic process. It is part of the reason why superoxide dismutase is able to work as an antioxidant. Copper is part of that process. Copper is also part of the collagen and elastin synthesis. It is part of energy production, and it's also part of melanin production. So copper is right in there in the mix when it comes to all kinds of enzymatic functions. So you can see why copper is important, right? The reason why copper peptides have become so popular is because of their benefits. They can promote collagen synthesis, they are anti-inflammatory, they can improve your skin firmness and elasticity, they can improve the texture of your skin, they can increase the hair growth and increase hair follicle size, which we can talk about in another video. And also, copper peptides stimulate not only the synthesis of collagen, but they also stimulate the breakdown of collagen. So that's pretty important because that has to do with clearing out the old and making way for the new, something that when we are young happens quite efficiently, but unfortunately as we get older, like everything else, we diminish in copper peptides in our body. So what I want to do now is I want to go through the copper peptide serums and whatnot that I have tried. I want to give you a ranking. So I'm going to start with favorites and we're going to move down the list. I have two in the end that are kind of outliers and they're a little bit different. We're going to talk about those. Then I'm going to go through how I use these in my current routine. And I want to let you know what I always avoid combining with them. So let's start out with the favorites, the absolute favorites. And there are two. These are tied neck and neck. And that is CAIS from Niode and the VIP serum from Dr. Picard. These are, I have equal love for them. They definitely contain some differences, obviously. So let's start with Dr. Picard. This VIP serum is GHK-cu. So it is the original first generation copper peptide that we've been discussing. This is a 3% GHK-cu and it's in kind of a gel serum base. It has some beautiful ingredients. I will put them up on the screen. It spreads into your skin really, really beautifully, you guys. And I find that I can use 1 or 1.5 pumps and it will spread on my entire face and down my neck and onto my décolleté. So that's before it soaks in. It leaves your skin with a really nice radiance and I find it to be very, very elegant. Something that I want to mention about Dr. Picard, his packaging isn't fantastic. It's not elegant. It's not beautiful. And his website isn't either. That said, I have used several of his products and this one in particular, very, very impressed with them. I'm impressed with the results. I feel like once I've used them for, a couple weeks, I noticed a change in my skin and I really like this a lot. So this one is a tied for favorite. The Niode CAIS, what is important to know about this one is that when you get it in the mail, it comes with 2 bottles, okay? One of the bottles is 2% GHK, 2% of that tripeptide that we talked about. And the other bottle is just a little bit of a pure copper. Now you mix them together and what happens is that pure copper was at 1%. When you mix them together, since this one had 2% of the GHK in it, 1% of it immediately binds to that 1% of copper and you get a freshly made GHK-cu. You get a freshly made copper peptide. So this one is another one that I'm incredibly impressed with. Now this is 1/2 ounce and it was $60. So it is not inexpensive. It's $90 if you buy a full ounce. It comes in a dropper and you'll see it's a nice dark blue. It is extremely watery. So see that? So what I can tell you from trial and error, and that is really, really important, is to let some of it go back in the bottle before you dispense it into your hand and you put it on your face. Otherwise, you end up wasting a bunch of this and it is not inexpensive. Because of its consistency, I find that it isn't the easiest to spread around. You feel like it soaks in really fast. My answer to that is that I use the superoxide dismutase saccharide mist from Niode first at night, and then I put this on. And I do find that that helps to spread this around and just makes this go a little bit farther. I find this to be a beautiful copper peptide serum. I'm really, really impressed, and I've been using it long enough to say this is another one that I would definitely repurchase. Now, number 3 on my ranking is going to be from The Ordinary. Now, this one is their Buffet Plus Copper Peptide. This is such an impressive serum. It is 1% copper peptide, so 1% GHK-cu, but this is chock full of so many good good ingredients that for $28.90 for an ounce, I mean, it is, if you are a babe on a budget, this is a fantastic way to get copper peptides into your skincare regimen. And not only that, but you can get a bunch of other really amazing ingredients in as well. So let me show you. This one also comes in a dropper form. You can see it is kind of a cornflower blue, really. It's a little more jelly consistency than the others. So see, it's not quite as runny. See how it's going slow? So this one has a little bit more of a thicker serum consistency, not quite as watery. Spreadability is really, really great. And because I use my copper peptides at night, I don't worry about anything not playing well under makeup or anything like that. This is a great one, you guys. It is a high on my list of recommendations. So that is my number 3. Fourth on my list is going to be by Niode again. Now this is their CAIL. This is a copper amino isolate lipid. The reason why this is fourth on my list, because I know a lot of people really, really love this one, is because it broke me out. And at first I wasn't sure if it was this or if it was the product from The Ordinary. Well, I eliminated The Ordinary and I moved this only to my neck. And unfortunately, yesterday, after I've been using this on my neck exclusively for a decent enough length of time, I broke out on my neck, and I am not breakout prone. I am not acne prone. So I've pretty much narrowed it down to this. If I set that aside, this is a beautiful product. Now it is a 1% GHK-cu, and it comes in this kind of a gel-like base that when you spread it in, it turns into almost an oil consistency. So you're supposed to use this at night, not during the day. I definitely wouldn't be putting this on under makeup anyway, even if I didn't do my copper peptides at night. But the more that you work this into your skin, the more it kind of turns into this slippy texture. So what I'm gonna do with this one now is I'm gonna move it to my hands, and I'm gonna put this on my hands at night. Now they have attached an additional palmitoyl to the GHK-cu for added benefit. You're supposed to get barrier repairing benefits from this one as well. I can completely see how that is possible with the ingredient deck and with the consistency. And I do think that with all of the things that we do to our skin, probably the one thing that we leave out the most is barrier protection. You know, really being mindful of our barrier. We do so much with actives that mess with our barrier that I actually really, really appreciate that Niode is considering your barrier function as an important part of this process. So this is my number 4. Now my number 5 is only number 5 because it's more new to me, but this is by Dr. Roebuck's, and this is the Ningaloo serum. This is a copper tripeptide. There are only 6 ingredients in this. It is 1 ounce essentially for $68. You can get this at Sephora in the States, and you can get it pretty much worldwide, which was why I was kind of excited to test it out. It does come in a pump. It's in a hyaluronic acid base, and it's a very, very watery consistency. So 1 pump is likely going to, I'm going to show you, but it's going to drip right off my hand. See how watery that is? 1 pump is likely going to cover your face and your neck. So this one is still too new for me to give you a thorough review, but I definitely wanted to include it because I love the idea that it is available to everyone around the world. And I do appreciate that it comes in a pump. That's pretty cool. I like that design of the packaging very, very much. Now, the last couple products that we're going to talk about are a little bit outliers, and one of them is going to be from Dr. Picard, and this is his Super CP Serum. If you are familiar or you've checked out Dr. Picard's site at all, you know that he has Generation 1 copper peptides, which are everything that we just talked about. He is the one that initially isolated copper peptides from blood plasma, and so GHK-cu is Dr. Picard's initial discovery, and then that's what's in all of these cosmetics. He then came up with, in the 90s, a 2nd generation copper peptides. Now, the 2nd generation copper peptides were important because he made them less fragile. They were more about remodeling the skin. They were more about using on scar revision and with any kind of buildup of protein that is unwanted. That can be sun damage, that can be, scars, obviously. So the second generation of copper peptides are stronger against things like alpha hydroxy acids and retinoids, but they still should not be combined with vitamin C. I could probably do an entire video on second generation copper peptides, but my personal opinion is that primarily for anti-aging, the original form of copper peptides are the way to go. The GHK-cu. Yes, they are more fragile, but we can get around that by developing a skincare routine that isolates the copper peptides into one part of our routine and everything else in other parts of our routine. If you are somebody who has acne-prone skin, if you suffer from post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation from acne marks, or if you are really oily, you might like the second generation of copper peptides. It can be very helpful for some of that. So that's definitely something to take into consideration. And if you have more questions about second gen, leave them in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer them there. I wanted you to know that they exist with Dr. Bicart, but that's not what is in any of these other copper peptides. Another product that I find to be pretty amazing that contains GHK is this Youth Complex by IsClinical. The lovely Leah from Skin Beautiful RX did send this to me, and this is essentially, for me, a moisturizer. Comes in a pump bottle. It is not inexpensive, but it is packed with age-fighting ingredients, and it has that GHK. Perfect for a moisturizer. It is kind of a cream, spreads really, really well, and would be a nice cream to use at night on the nights that you use your copper peptides. So this is definitely one that I wanted to mention as well because it's different than all of these serums. And if you wanted an added dose of GHK, it's in IsClinical. Their entire youth line contains GHK, which I think is pretty cool. Now I want to discuss how I incorporate copper peptides into my skincare routine. First of all, I always have them at night. I have just dedicated them to be at night, and that way I can isolate them away from the other actives that they don't play well with. And I'm going to put up on the screen a little graphic so that you can see the things that copper peptides should and should not be going with. And it also lists the second gen and what it can be used and not used with. So the way that I do it is I do my copper peptides at night and I alternate nights with my retinoids. That keeps it pretty simple. I use my vitamin C's and my alpha hydroxy acids in the morning. That way they are also separate. So copper peptides are on one night, another night is a retinoid, and vitamin C, alpha hydroxy acids are in the morning. I hope that this video was helpful. I hope that you're having a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you in my next skincare video. Take care.